Hi, welcome to Keeping It Spiritually Simple. I'm your host, Sandra McEllis, and today is Wacky Wednesday. How wacky is it? Well, it's so wacky that I'm actually recording this on Intuitive Tuesday. So, I've been going over a lot of this merge and purge stuff that we're all experiencing. And what do I mean by that? We are here on this earth planet doing some final cleansing and clearing of old cellular debris, programs, triggers, good, bad, and indifferent patterns, behaviors, actions, responses, old parts of our personality that we're just not happy with, wanting to create new, but in order to clean off that whiteboard, so to speak, or give ourselves a massive detox, we've got to get in here and allow things to merge together so that we can see it a little bit more clearly, recognize it in order to purge it, release it, let it go back to source, because we no longer need the cellular filling with a whole lot of artificial junk that isn't going to serve us moving forward in this lifetime, because we are on rapid, propelling, warp speed ahead movement, and each cell carries its own memories of all different things that have occurred to you now and before, no matter how you calculate the before, whether it's another lifetime or whether it's in this current lifetime, our subconscious storage units are overflowing. And that's where we store our autopilot that we respond and react from on a daily basis. And we're not allowing to create new because we're in these regimented patterns that we call our life. And most of our daily life is how to get through it and get to the next day in hopes that things might be a little bit better. So I've had a lot of phone calls from people who are just doing their work. And some calling it the dark soul of the night. Some are calling it, my shadow work. It just means there's things that are stored in the darkness that aren't getting enough light, that are aspects of you that you may not even recognize you're portraying on a daily basis. And how what little minute components of all of that makes up your current personality and why you do the things you do throughout your day. Because we could have picked them up and it's actually a hindrance. It's not a good habit to be in. We want to correct that. And how do we do that? We stop, drop, sit, connect with our breath, become aware, and ask for assistance to be guided. And then, like any other habit, it's going to take due diligence and a reminder and constant do-overs and practice to skill things in and hone it so that you can become closer to some sort of mastery. But the first thing we've got to do is empty the cellular membranes of all the things that it doesn't need to carry around anymore because it's getting heavy. So the calls that I'm getting are mostly for people who are doing their work. They're like, oh my gosh, I thought I finished that already. But look at this life's lesson getting thrown at me again. So something I had meditated on, Spirit came through, and it was talking about the degrees of separation and loneliness because it's severing the ties and the tethers from all the connections in all the areas of our physical and energetic realms. It is merge, purge, and reemerge. That's really what this is about. Merge, purge, reemerge. I'm also hearing very loudly that people need to accept to be in what it is, no matter what that is and no matter what that feels like, so that we can feel it could be possible final rejection from family, friends, and loved ones. It could be a job. It could be the death of relationships. It could be so many different things that we're letting go of that mirror death, and we want to hold on because that is a natural physiological response, is to hold on to something that we're losing. It requires us to have tons of love and self-care and self-support. So it's going to take us preparing that, okay, I'm going to be doing this merge and purge. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm going to have myself some detox tea, some healthy nutrient foods, vegetables, proteins that work well with my body, that don't weigh me down and wear me out. I'm going to put in my calendar to take several walks or stop and rest and sit and push away from all the electronics and have some quiet time. So it's going to take preparation so that you can set yourself up for success. Because you want to reemerge without bringing along all the density with you. You want it gone. You want it wrung out, squeezed out, done, gone, closed up, sealed, loved, and healed. So we have to reserve by using our time and utilizing preparedness, forward thinking. We are asking for this. We expected this because subconsciously we have asked to release all the things that don't serve us on any level, any dimension, any lifetime, any droplet of anything in our life force energy that doesn't serve us anymore. Could we please release this with ease and grace? But again, it takes a preparation plan. So what is happening in real conscious time, along with all the tearing of pieces of self? We are attempting to stop the process and scream for help. Because when we get into the thick of some of this releasing, and it feels like the dark night of the soul, what is happening here? These things are out of my control. We want to stop it. We want to stop the pain because it hurts. Instead of going in further, just slowly step into it. Allow yourself to see what is presenting. And then how do you feel? And what are you sensing through that feeling? That is really important. And our screams for help are generally to ourselves, to someone who might be listening that's physical. Help me! I don't know what's happening. Everything's out of control. Nothing seems normal in my rational mind. And I'm being told that I'm not rational, but everything seems rational to me. So these are processes that we have to trust in the universe, that are lessons that are coming up to be looked at. And how we gain momentum and assistance in this is going deeper into the layers that present during this merge-purge process. But because we can't reemerge carrying the same thing we went under with. We just can't. Makes no sense. We're doing deep dives here. So we also know that because we have asked for this on a subconscious, energetic, spiritual level, we have to trust that we have the tools. And as painful as it may feel, and we're in the throes of this acute pain, or what we interpret as acute pain, we're at the threshold of deliverance. Gets the darkest before the dawn is an expression for many, many different things. Trust that we are not alone. There are, excuse me, there are many of us out here in this metamorphic status, going through these cycles of change and reinvention of self, because we're letting go of things that has maybe seemed like friend, because it's become an habitual habit to go through these programs every day, and it may feel unfamiliar and unknown, interpreting into uncomfortable while we're in this extended drying cycle of the dryer. Tumble, 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 stop for a little bit, tumble, tumble. We're on this automatic drying cycle, or we're on this advanced extra spin and rinse. And when you really want to get those clothes out of the washer or the dryer, you feel like it's never ending. You're waiting, waiting, waiting. And this is sort of what it feels like while we're doing this merge and purge. But if you want to come out as the spiritual athlete as you chose to come in, we have to let go of what no longer serves us. And that takes reflection and examination of self. What can I do differently when I awake in the morning that may give me a little more of a perk for the day? Could I just ask my body what it needs? Could I take the time to ask, what do you need in this moment? We are so busy with our hands in the positions of 10 and 2, gas brake, gas brake, gas brake, that coasting along is uncomfortable. It may feel a little bit freeing, but it doesn't last. Because we always have one foot ready to hit the gas or the brake. In order to coast more freely through life and increase the flow, we have to detox the clogged pathways mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, etherically, because we have this dome of sensory energy around us that is our first field of communication. So you got to respect that. You know, one of the biggest habits we have is living by that clock and being late because we're trying to control that clock. And so we rush so many things that we're literally skipping over critically important mechanisms that are in place to help increase the pleasure and joy of our life. Because we're hitting override, we're jumping those hurdles because we think every day we have a destination, multiple destinations. And then if we're a parent with children or a spouse, we've got multiple timers going on in that world too. And as women and as moms, we are natural born jugglers. But that juggling is starting to strangle us. And we came in with more to be of service. And the first place we have to be of service is to self. So making that time to work in a better atmosphere, an environment, so you can tap into your regulator and calibrate so that it helps you to coast and shift with more grace and ease instead of jumping the hurdles to get through something. This is going to require slowing your roll. This is going to require less on your daily calendar. This is going to require you to have quiet time. Whether it's a walk, it's gym, it's a massage, it's sitting in a room with nothing on, no music, no nothing, and tapping into your self-soothing mechanism so that you can lower your heart rate, tell your nervous system you're safe, allow the heat of the brain to cool down. If you get in the commander seat and take charge of this vehicle, you can take this ride to better places with more rewards than you could have even imagined. And you may start realizing how dense the program of life you've been living that is not fulfilling you. And you don't need to wait decades into your life or wait for a trauma drama to occur. Everything that you do now, you pay it forward. Everything you do now, you pay it forward. Just take your sleep, for example. I get 5 really super good nights sleep, and then maybe the 6th night I'm up late, but I'm okay because I can counterbalance because I paid it forward prior to disruption. So life is always going to have disruptions and curveballs. Did you set up a reserve of calm? Did you set up a reserve so your systems respond in a more gentle way? Slow your roll on the caffeine. Slow your roll when you say hello and hug other people. Slow your roll when you're shoveling food in your mouth because we're told we got to hurry. And half the time we have so many things in our mouth, our taste buds just don't function anymore because they can't even figure out what the hell you just shoveled in there. And then you expect your stomach juices to meet it and break it down so that it can go into the bloodstream and filter through the liver and give you energy and nutrients. So it all starts with voluntary movement. Picking up that fork or that spoon, shoveling it in your mouth. Slow it down. Maybe take one thing at a time. Maybe close your eyes and actually see if you can identify what the hell is in your mouth. And then maybe you'll take a relaxation moment to allow your stomach to prepare for it, to allow yourself to chew a little bit longer. Let's breathe on that, my friends. Let's breathe on that. So that's a little bit of my notes from yesterday, of course brought to you by my memory banks of impromptu, because my guides will maybe give me a word and then I've got to find where that sentence goes and where it leads into the next sentence. So hopefully you could keep up. And please do go back and re-listen. And if I can help you on this journey, it's what I do. embodimentofthesoul.com. We've got to learn to get it into a gear where we're keeping it more spiritually simple. And that's going to require going through our cellular system, cleaning it out, cleaning out our physical environment, putting better fuel into our physical environment, cleaning up literally our physical touch and see 3D environment. Get a bag out and donate what you no longer use and admit some of the things that you no longer use are trash. Bless it. Thank it for doing what it needed to do, that you no longer need it. You're making room for more quality. The quantity no longer serves its purpose. Everything in your time, everything you use your talent, everything you want to skill in and hone, that you want to become more masterful at, is quality. And I promise you're going to start picking and choosing things from a heart-centered place of love before you start extending your hands out to reach things. And hopefully, even if you extend out to reach things, you still examine it before you bring it back to self. Remember, everything you bring to self, you put back out to everyone else. So if you've got people in your household that you really love, you need to start setting the mindful example and respecting this vessel on every level. Children do as they see, not as they hear. They will do as they see. And most children are reared at the mother's knee, even if it's daycare and school. The primary is still the mother. And we are the mother, father, God within this vessel. So we carry the masculine, the feminine, and the God self, each of us, male and female. So we have to own that and share reverence with ourselves so that we can be the living, breathing example of what we want to emanate and mentor and share with others. Because children will mimic what you do before what you say. So be the best living, breathing example of your God source sparking self. Let's take a nice deep breath in. To really seal in this information and let it start with the breath for your self-love. Do that as often as you need during the day. All right? Thank you for tuning in to Keeping It Spiritually Simple. Please like, subscribe, share, leave me comments or questions, and look for us over in the podcast. It's coming in April. Thank you. Bye-bye.